Hello everyone, it's cold outside, which means it's the perfect time to do a Deadlock Would You Rather. I asked you, the wonderful people in my community, for some Would You Rather questions related to Deadlock in a community post a couple of days ago, and I got a lot of responses. I actually can't even put all of them in the video because it would take too long. So, we're going to go through the highlights and have a little bit of fun with some very silly questions indeed. So, before we get started, if you guys have been enjoying my content recently, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton, and it helps you stay up to date on all my latest videos. But with that being said, let's get into the first question. Would you rather get charged by Abrams or punched by Bebop IRL? Why do you hate me? Honestly, I think I would choose getting charged by Abrams, and the reason for that is because Bebop is made out of hard metal, and I feel like that would hurt more. So, yeah, don't like that though. Would you rather feel what it's like to be hit with Viper's petrifying bola or hit with Pocket's affliction? Okay. I mean, I guess, are we assuming that both of these effects wear off like they do in-game? In which case, gosh, I don't know. One of them is like, I'm petrified, I probably won't be able to, like, feel anything, to be honest, and then the petrification wears off and I'm back to normal, and the other one is, I feel really sick and violently ill for several seconds. I think I'm gonna have to go with the bola. Okay, this one's a lot better. Would you rather be in the cube or the frozen shelter? I want to be in the cube. I've heard good things. Would you rather play Melee Viper or Magic Carpet Mina? I mean, honestly, okay, Magic Carpet Mina sounds a lot tamer. I have to buy one 6K that's different, but it also helps with spirit scaling anyways, versus I have to make an entire playstyle on a character who's not really meant to do melee. Yeah, I think Mina's the better choice here. Would you rather do Lash or Mina? Mina, duh. This one's interesting. Would you rather play with your mouse sensitivity doubled or mouse inverted? That, honestly, I think, okay, so, you know, I have muscle memory, right, from thousands of hours of aiming in video games. I think a mouse inversion would really, really screw with that, whereas mouse sensitivity doubled, I mean, I would have to just move my hand a lot slower. I think I could adapt to that one a lot faster and a lot easier. So I think doubling the mouse sensitivity is the right move here. Would you rather play poker with Wraith or try a prison break with Viper? Okay. This is not balanced in the slightest. Would I rather risk being arrested with a character I find annoying and ugly, or play poker with the character I put at the top of my waifu tier list? I mean, even if I end up owing her money and she ends up killing me, I'd still prefer that. Would you rather fight pre-patched Shiv and Mina in lane every game, or every time you die you have to take a bite of a raw onion? That's a little gross. I think, though, it would make more sense to go for the Shiv and the Mina for two reasons. First of all, biting a raw onion, every single time it'll be the same experience over and over again. And while it might sound the same for Shiv and Mina, the great thing about Deadlock is it has a lot of playstyle diversity. So, presumably, occasionally, the Shiv and the Mina, even pre-patch, right, even with different balance changes, right, they'd still presumably play different builds occasionally. So, I might get a little bit more variety there. And also, I mean, that's a lot of... Every single time I die, I have to bite a raw onion. Do you know how much I die? I feel like that'd be really bad for my diet. That's the second reason. I'm going with Shiv and Mina. Would you rather find a Viper in a dark alleyway and you have $10 on you? Just 10, but I guess in 1940s money, that's probably a lot. Or find Billy in a dark alley and you have an unquenchable, unstoppable urge to point out about his stupid goat head. Oh, man. Well, I mean, you know, I did say what I said about Viper in one of the previous Would You Rathers, and I don't take back anything I said for a second, but in the context of this, I think it would be a lot easier to reason with the Viper. Perhaps I could just surrender the $10 to her and move on my merry way, And, I mean, it's that or get my head bashed in by a goat man. Yeah, alright, I'll take Viper this time. Claymeister asks, would you rather play Sniper Abrams or Sniper Billy? Huh. Oh, God. I mean, I'd rather spend some quality time up on the zappers on those rooftops that you're not supposed to access, but I guess if you're going to make me choose, honestly, I'll probably go with Sniper Abrams. I think that was ever so slightly more enjoyable for me, but both of them suck. I hate this question. This one's a good one from Engineering Druid. Engineering Druid sent a couple of good ones, actually. Would you rather play a game of Deadlock where you had to purchase items in the category with the lowest current investment, or play a game where all your items are in a single category? You know, the first time I read this, I actually just thought it said, would you rather only purchase items in the lowest price category? But that's not it. Only purchase items in the lowest current investment. I mean, I guess at the start of the game you're kind of screwed. You can't purchase any items. They all have the lowest investment. They're tied. But no, I guess you purchase one item and then you have to like basically ping pong through your different items. You could create a really balanced build, but it would prevent you from hyper-fixating on, you know, gun damage for a gun character or spirit damage for a spirit character. Or only go for a single category. I mean, that one's tough. But I did some videos many months ago where I actually tried that. I did only gun, only vitality, and only spirit. I think the only vitality one, I think I played Shiv for that, and it actually went quite well. So, I mean, honestly, the only vitality doesn't sound bad, or like Green Abrams or something like that. But, yeah, lowest current investment. I mean, that would definitely be the most balanced approach, because I'd just be ping-ponging all over the place. That one's tough. That one's really, really tough. I think I will go with the balanced one, ultimately, just because, I mean, that's how I like to build a lot of characters anyways. And if I get to still choose my character, then I guess I would pick someone who ends up really benefiting from all three categories and just going back and forth, back and forth. So maybe like, I mean, Vindicta comes to mind. I don't know how much you would benefit from going that much into green, though, but there are some characters that can make that work. Trevmon asks another really imbalanced question, if you give it just like a second of thought. Would you rather spend a day at the Baroness with the Doorman, or at Jezebel's with Infernus? I don't know why you thought this one would be balanced. One of them is a psychotic demigod who's pretending to be a humble doorman so he can experience humanity, and he loves torturing people and causing all sorts of cosmic strife. And on the other hand, I get a chill time at a bar with one of the coolest dudes in the game who makes some really cool drinks. I'm going with Infernus. This one, however, Trevmon, you have redeemed yourself. Would you rather be caught in an alleyway with the Drifter, or be one of Vindicta's targets? Oh, well, either way, I'm screwed. I'm dead. This is the end of my life. But if you're gonna make me choose, then, I mean, I definitely have to go with Vindicta. And the reason why is, it'll be faster. One shot to the head, sniper bullet just obliterates me, and then I don't feel a thing. Drifter, he's gonna make it painful. Would you rather spend eternity in the Cube or the Baroness? This one kind of, it might seem a little similar to the Cube versus Dome one at first, but we're talking about eternity here. That's actually kind of a scary concept if you think about it, because eventually you'll run out of things to do. You'll get bored, you know? And so if I'm thinking about eternity, right? I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna be here forever. The Cube is just, I'm like suspended in gelatin the entire time. And I'm sure it would feel nice, but eventually I wouldn't feel anything at all because I would become acclimated to it. And it would be essentially an eternity where I'm conscious, but I don't get to feel anything. The Baroness is a mysterious place. Definitely a pretty terrible, scary place. I mean, we know the doorman inhabits that. But it would at least be a little bit more cognitively stimulating. And so it's really like, do you want to spend eternity in the Cube, stuck in a forever nothingness, or would you rather spend eternity at least being somewhat stimulated, but probably in pain? Those aren't good options. But I think for the cognitively stimulative case, I'm actually gonna choose the Baroness. Maybe I'll regret that in a couple million years, but I don't know. We'll see. Would you rather have to play Gun, Krill, or Spirit Drifter? Old Ben Kenobi doesn't know what's up. I actually really like Drifter's Rend ability. It's like my favorite ability on him. And, I mean, Spirit Drifter, honestly, like, it can be a fun playstyle. It's just not very viable. Whereas Gun Krill is just flat out not a playstyle. I mean, technically you can, but his entire kit doesn't synergize with it. At least Spirit Drifter makes more sense, and I tried to make a somewhat Spirit build back in the day, so I think I definitely would choose Drifter here. Alright, I guess here's a bit more of a serious would you rather. Would you rather Deadlock be focused entirely on PvP, or include some story-driven PvE missions, even if it slightly affects PvP balance? Now, I don't actually know how a PvE mission would ever affect PvP balance unless for some reason the story-driven PvE missions are happening in the middle of a match. I would assume like any sort of PvE mission would be its own separate like side quest totally outside of the PvP realm. In which case a PvE mission would definitely be interesting. However, to be honest, I don't really think the game is really built for that. The characters are really built for that. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me when I start to think about it. And so, also considering the fact that it would take away resources from Valve working on the PvP portion, I think I would honestly actually just rather them focus on the PvP game. If I want to play a PvE game from Valve, I'll just go play Half-Life, or Portal. But like, I don't know. I don't think Deadlock needs to be PvE necessarily. Here's another serious one. Would you rather see Valve lock or shut down the ability to mod the game and use cosmetics as a monetization model? Or have them embrace the modding community, and if so, what would the monetization model be? Most games with open modding support charge upfront for the game or DLC. Well, here's the thing. We can actually kind of have both in a sense, not the locking down the ability to mod the game, but the modding community existing and also them being able to monetize the game with skins. We have workshop content for TF2 and Counter-Strike, and also those games have a thriving market that Valve makes millions and millions of dollars off of. So I think that they're probably just going to do something similar for Deadlock. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The only thing that I'm worried about is that they're going to introduce more gambling into Deadlock, and, like, that would not be good. I don't like the gambling in Counter-Strike or TF2, and, well, I definitely think it would hurt the game if that came to Deadlock, so... But I'm sure they would be able to come up with some monetization model that leaves modding intact. The important thing is, definitely leave modding intact, because it helps so much with a game's longevity. Like, TF2 is still kicking, like, what, 18 years later or something like that? And part of the reason why is, yeah, you can mod the game, you can change your HUD, you can play on entirely different servers, and, yeah, that's really cool. So, Deadlock should definitely have the same. Look at what Gluten Snake's done with modding. That content is incredible, and Deadlock thrives when it has mods like that. Would you rather be bound to Oathkeeper, or bound to a bickering couple who hate each other? And I kind of would assume this to be bound to a bickering spouse that you've grown to hate because of, I don't know, question mark Sinclair lore. And honestly, I think I'd rather be bound to Oathkeeper. I mean, yeah, my arm would get all effed up. That would be really bad. But at the same time, at least I would get some cool new powers. Meanwhile, I mean, Henry and Savannah just sound annoying. That doesn't sound particularly fun. Ugh. Here's a kind of similar question to one that we saw earlier. Would you rather Deadlock go down the road of having full skins for their characters, similar to Overwatch or Marvel Rivals? Or would you rather have individual cosmetics, e.g. hats, coats, and accessories, similar to Team Fortress 2? This is another very interesting one, and honestly, it kind of is a game design question more than an aesthetic question, because the thing about skins that's tough is they can really warp how the game feels to play, especially the more distinct you make the skins. If it's just a skin that kind of is like putting a different costume on the character, but it doesn't really change their visual effects or their voice lines or anything like that, it's a bit more tame, then that doesn't really impact the gameplay experience that much, because a good gameplay experience relies heavily on being able to identify the characters that you're fighting at an instant glance. And Valve is really good about that usually, with the silhouettes of their characters, the distinct color, stuff like that. And so if it was a limited, like very stripped back, very basic skin, it would probably be fine. But if we're adding really distinct visual effects or entire separate voice packs similar to actually what Paladins had, that would definitely teeter on the edge of really impacting the gameplay performance more, in which case, honestly, I don't think I would like it as much. But on the flip side, hats, coats, accessories, all those have a very, very minimal impact on the gameplay experience. They just also aren't as interesting, as cosmetics, although I guess being able to mix and match is also pretty cool. So it's a mixed bag for both cases. Ultimately, I just want the cosmetic model that has the least impact on the gameplay, because honestly, like the past year or so of playing Deadlock, I've actually really loved that there aren't cosmetics, that all the characters do look the same, because it really just allows you to focus on the pure gameplay, and the pure gameplay is incredible. So, I mean, honestly, considering that it's Valve, I wouldn't be surprised if they did the Team Fortress 2 model. I don't actually know how cosmetics work in Dota. If Dota has something similar to Overwatch or Marvel Rivals, then you could also see Deadlock go down that path, in which case I would definitely prefer the more limited, restricted versions of skins rather than full-blown, different visual effects, different voice packs, stuff like that. And finally, here's the most difficult would you rather of them all, from DZA Kikoof. I don't know how to say that name. Would you rather play Deadlock, but Paladins dies? Or, if the game had a better publisher, keep playing Paladins, and Deadlock is never invented? You can only choose one. Do you get Deadlock, or do you get Paladins? The other has to die. And if you didn't know, Paladins is the game I played before switching over to Deadlock here on the channel. The game unfortunately died last year. A high-res cut off support from the game, and I decided it was finally time to move on. That really is a tough question, and there's not a good answer either way, because I do love both games. It's sad to see what happened to Paladins now, and I suppose this question really hinges a lot on the extent of which the publisher has an impact on Paladins. How far back do we get to go to decide who is publishing the game? Do we get to revert changes like OB64? Did that never happen? Or are we only talking more recently in the past couple of years? Because that would really change so much, and Paladins could have been so much more successful. And certainly, for the channel specifically, being able to keep playing Paladins would have been better for me, especially if Paladins were more popular, because then I wouldn't have to switch games entirely and have to rebuild my audience. That part's been really tough. I'm still not back to my Paladins levels yet in terms of viewership. But then on the flip side, I already played Paladins for YouTube for like 8 years, and that's a long time to be doing basically the same thing over and over. And eventually, you just get tired of it. And so for the sake of actually being able to try something different, expand to new horizons, and, just have fun learning a new game, having Deadlock around is really good, and Deadlock has so many things that I absolutely admire, that I love about the game. Oof, man. This is the hardest would you rather question. There's really not a good answer. If we're assuming that Paladins dies, means that Paladins is basically put into the state that it is now, right? Basically the current timeline. I think I'm probably going to end up choosing the current timeline for the sake of we do end up still at least getting to experience both games. The other timeline, Deadlock would never exist, full stop, and we'd only have the one game. And so for having two games, the first answer makes more sense. And for the sake of also having variety, getting to move on and try something new with my channel, the first option is also better for that. But it really is bittersweet. It's not a good answer in this question. I hate this question because it's so hard. So good job for making me think. I think I am going to go for the first one, though. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about these Would You Rathers in the comment section. Would you answer differently? And also, do you have any other really good Would You Rather questions for me? Leave them in the comment section down below, and maybe I'll make a part 2 to this video if you guys like it. Also, make sure to like this video while you're down there, and subscribe for more content like this from me, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.